Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the trip. I am DWTT, and this is episode two. As you saw the name on the show, Laca'S late act, but we'll get into that as we move along. But first, let's go with my panel today. We'll start off with, I guess I'll call him my co-host today, since Matt has left us to go on. He's got coaching duties. But Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Cool, cool, cool. And we've got Ray from Arsenal Fan Circle. Ray, how you doing?
Gary, thanks for allowing me to come on as well. And dare I say it, a brave move, promoting Tony to co-host duties. Oh my God!
Should I have said like
Do you know what
temporary
you're
or
doing?
interim or something like that?
Do you
Just so
know
we
what you're
could,
doing, Gary?
yeah, yeah. We've done this before. So, hello everybody in the chat. I see
We know
Big
what we're
Stunner was
doing.
there early. I said hi to him early, so he's been here for a while, waiting for us to start up. Got Riddy in the house. Hello, Riddy. How you doing? And hopefully we'll get some more as we move along here. Yeah, so Ray, that's true. That is right. So we'll say hello. Here we go. And last but not least, we've got
Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom, how are you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello. Have you cried your eyes out? It sounds like you've been crying a little bit.
It's been an emotional day, I tell you.
He's been cutting some onions. Come on,
All
that's
right.
not
All right.
serious.
Yeah.
He's been watching old wrestling videos, crying and watching them. Missing the good old days of
No
wrestling.
tears in football.
Yeah. There's a little turnaround of play here. So instead of Ray hosting things, it's me. And we've got Why Not Sentiment. How you doing? Why Not? And welcome. We've got Mr. Tom is here. Yes. So you know what? So let's go ahead and get started.
We have a proper pilot for this instead of Ray.
We'll see. We'll see how I go. We'll see how I do. All right. So we got Tom on, but we'll go into first the title of the show for a little bit, and then we'll move on from there. I don't know if Mr. Tom, if you saw the Arsenal match or how it ended, or if you've heard about it, but we'll get into that.
I can pretend that I did, yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'll get into that. So for me, we'll talk about as much as as much or as little as we need to. But for me, I enjoyed watching Lacazette do what he did because he couldn't give us scoring, which is a known deficiency in his game. But he pretty much tried to give us everything else that he had, and I think the team kind of built on that. And the subs definitely helped, but I think he was there. He was the constant throughout the game. So Tony, how do you feel about Lacazette? I called it the last act, but in reality, it was a late act for him because he's been doing things for us, and we hope he does more for us going forward in the future.
It's kind of like the opening act because things have completely changed since he's been captain. Been winning more games, shooting a lot more shots. Still not clinical enough, but we're shooting shots, averaging over 20 shots a game. I like that. I like us going forward because we got a back five we can count on with the four defenders and the goalkeeper. But Lacazette does everything you want him to do. To me, I've always thought he was a leader, always dedicated to the badge. I don't think he's ever been used right at the club. Wenger didn't really rank him too highly. It's really not a signing he really wanted. That's why we went got Obama less than a year later. So to me, he's just never been used right. Like last year, scored the first three games, scored a goal each game, and Arteta benches him. Comes back, scores a couple more goals, gets benched. Still our leading scorer last year, even though he's given a different role. And this year's he's given even more of a role of bailing out the midfield, playing deeper, doing up all the plays, holding up, getting Odegaard involved, Smith Rowe involved, Sutton involved. Basically doing everything you could ask for a player. Yeah, it'd be nice to see him get more goals. He got the late one. He hasn't really. I think he's so tired. He just when he sees goals, he just misses it. Because before he used to be a pretty clinical striker in France. He always getting over 30 goals a season. Just to me, he's never been played enough consistently enough to show what he has. Now he's been given a chance. The team's turned around. We've been going up the table. So now lots of praise for every guy.
Cool. Yeah, no, I hear a little bit what you're saying. I mean, I think I don't think he was what our Arsenal wanted. I think they just were looking for. That's probably when they were kind of mismanaging their transfers. They wanted a striker. They went out and got one. Whether or not he fit, I don't know if that mattered because 6 months later they made another purchase. So I think those were probably the bad management days when they brought him in. So he is what he is. He was never like a consistent 20-goal scorer, I believe, coming in. So
he was in France. He was 30 plus.
He was 30 plus coming in like the season before. He had hit 30.
Like,
I don't
remember
that.
2 seasons in a row.
27 goals, a lot of them penalties, though, Tony.
Okay. All right.
He's still up there.
All right. So, Ray, talk to me about Lacazette.
Yeah, I think a lot of what Tony has, I'm going to hate myself for saying this. A lot of what Tony said, makes sense. He was never that prolific goal scorer for us. I believe it was Alexis Sanchez tried to get that move to Manchester City, probably precipitated Arsene Wenger going to get Lacazette that summer. Probably not the best fit. And I can't remember, somebody will tell me, the French player we tried to sign. He subsequently went to Atletico Madrid. We put in a bid of something like 98 million on the eve of him playing for France. That just showed the misdirection of the club at the time a few years ago. And, 3 or 4 months later, we go and get Aubameyang over and on top of Lacazette. Lacazette's never, as Stan says before, he's never adequately replaced Giroud's goals. He's never been that plan B that we all talk about, that Giroud may have been, But for all
Giroud
of that,
Giroud would be plan A now with all his headers, with all our crosses, and the hold-up play. He'd be like the perfect person, really.
With all of that being said, though, out of all of our strikers, and we've whittled them all down now, Gary, we haven't got very many strikers left at the club now. He's become the best fit for the way we want to play, the way we're playing with those young players, exciting players on the wings. And like Tony said, withdrawn role, but he's able to connect. He's been able to connect up the play between midfield, working very well with Ødegaard, Emile Smith-Rowe, and then further forward Martinelli and Saka. So with all of that being said, Tony was running scared of Wolverhampton Wanderers in recent weeks. Well, guess what, Tony? We got 6 points from Wolverhampton Wanderers, and without Lacazette, I don't know how many points we would have gotten without Lacazette, because he created the goal for Gabriel away from home. And, he's running on gas fumes. He's running on fumes right at the end. And he doesn't get the shot on target, but he creates havoc for Jose Sa, and he pawed it into the net. And Arsenal have not been able to come from behind too much under Mikel Arteta. Well, strike one for Mikel Arteta there, a 2-1. And going back to West Ham last season, Gary, I know Tom is itching to get in there, but going back to last season against West Ham, Lacazette showed leadership.
Fucking West Ham.
Arsenal didn't follow the manager's instructions against West Ham. He was the only one that acted like a captain, even last season when he was not a captain. So I think he showed leadership on the field, as his years should dictate, Gary.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, at the beginning of the year season, I think many of us were asking, where was Lacazette? Why isn't he coming in? He was sitting. I think he sat out like maybe 8 games or so, or a large number of games, at least it seemed, before he actually came in. And since he's come in, he's been yearning to go, and you could see it. I mean, the team was missing something, and he's brought it. He's brought it every time he's come onto the pitch. They were looking for some leadership, somebody to fire up the team, and he definitely did that.
He came back into the side against Crystal Palace, and you know what? He scored a goal right at the end of Crystal Palace as well. Salvage a point for us.
Yeah. So we've got Mr. Tom going, telling us his beverage selection for the evening. or the late night for him actually. So the early morning. So, Mr. Tom, I don't know if you have much to say about Lacazette in general or Lacazette from the game.
I've got so much to say about Lacazette. I watched the Arsenal game 3 times to be prepared for this show.
You did?
What game was it? What game was it again? Sorry. Yeah. So
Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton.
that's the one. That's the one. Well, let me go into the Rolodex of my mind about this. What could have likely to have happened if I hadn't seen it? That's right. Wolves probably started time wasting from about the 8th minute onwards, and they love kicking the ball. They probably started asking if they could make their subs after about 5 minutes just to kill the clock a bit. Yeah, I mean that's just Wolves all over, isn't it? Sorry, Mark, if you ever see this, but yeah, no, I have something to say about Mr. Lacazette because I was doing my research, as you have to do when you're going on the internet, and he basically said about obviously because Everett's got to come back round to Leeds, obviously. I will quote what he said. I love the atmosphere in English games because you know the fans will be loud until the end, whatever the score is. Look at the Leeds game, for example. They supported their team and sang until the end. That's similar in France as well, though. Mostly they get behind their team even if they are down, and that is the football I like. Yeah, but I like it when my team's winning 4-1 and not losing 4-1. Mister, but the sentiment was very kind from him.
He's a nice guy.
I'll remember that. I will remember that about him. Yes.
Cool. And since we're we're still you just finished. Well, we'll go into something. I guess we'll start with why not sentiment. He's shown you some love there. And we can actually get into this as we move along. Since you've spoken so nice about Lacazette, and I think we're all appreciative of what he does for the team. There are some negatives, or there's some pros and cons. There's some cons with him being on the pitch, but I think the pros, at least since he's been on, have outweighed anything he hasn't done for us. Yes, he doesn't score, but he does everything else that we kind of need right now. And we'll need to find somebody to fill at least the leadership role that he provides to the team. So we'll see. But I guess talking about a leader and one that, for like us, he's gone now, but like I said, we expect to be gone as well. So talk about Bielsa, Tom. Now you've had it. I guess you've had it for 24 hours, probably not having to talk about it online or anything like that.
It's just surreal because I went from supporting a team where we had a new manager every 16 minutes to not changing the manager for 4 years. So you kind of got used to having him around. And it's similar to like your team in the sense when you had Wenger around, you was in a situation where all the teams around you would change their managers all the time, but your constant helped you be successful.
Yeah.
Because I believe continuity eventually does breed success.
Stability, yeah.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see the change they've made. They think that there's a continuity in style. I watched the content that Ray so generously sent me on the Twitter machine, and I watched it twice actually, and not in the sarcastic way that I said about the Wolves game. I actually did watch it twice, and it was fascinating. And it feels like he's going to employ a more responsible attacking system with a lot more option for defensive cover, which probably is what we need. Because playing... Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. I think you're going to be everything Leeds was under Bielsa, but a little bit more defensively sound. That's the way I would see it, Tom.
I would like to see that as the case. The problem is that if he doesn't get instant results, everyone's going to say, why didn't you bother sticking with Bielsa if we were going to lose anyway? Because if we're still going to get turned over under Marsh, we might as well get turned over with old Grandad in the team, managing it. because but it's one of these sad things, because he's one of the few people, I think, in football that obviously a lot of fans outside of the Leeds lore wouldn't understand as much the things about him that make him special, because you wouldn't know all the little stories like the hand grenade and things like this. But yeah, he carried a hand grenade once, and basically you usually in a football team, when things are not going perfectly, that you'll get like Wenger in and Wenger out. But it was very heavily weighted towards Bielsa in, even when we were getting smashed.
I would say one of the reasons probably for that is the resume that you come in on, right? I mean, Arteta has no resume that anybody can look at and go, you know what, he did this, he's done that, he's known for this. None of that in terms of being a manager. Whereas Bielsa comes in and you know what you're going to get from him. You know he's got certain, his football IQ is pretty strong, and that's what you're gonna, you can use that as something. Okay, we're at least gonna get that. Whether or not and I think some people will say whether or not that IQ still works today is to be desired.
Yes.
But he does come with some strong football IQ that teams can bring. I don't know, Ray, if you had anything to say on that one as well.
Yeah, and I think the opposite applies as well, Gary. It's the ownership of these clubs. They don't often provide stability because they start to get nervous after 2 or 3 bad results. And Tom, cover your ears right now. It's been a bad month, been a bad February for Leeds.
Don't need to. I'm going to be the first to tell you. You could see 20 goals in a month, the shortest month of the year. You deserve the flack you get for it.
Look around the Premier League now. I mean, it's full of really, really good managers, and the jury's still out on Arteta, of course. But going from mid-table down, there's a lot of good managers in there. There's a lot of quality in the league. But for me, being the ownership of Leeds, they started to get a little bit nervous with those poor results, slipping down the league, and worrying that they're going to get relegated. Because once you go out of the Premier League, it is very difficult to get back in. Jesse Marsh is a former RB Salzburg coach. He's an American coach, so he'll probably get a little bit of shade from English fans for that. But he plays very much on the front foot. And, I learned recently Leeds United are part of the Red Bull network. Is that correct, Tom?
No, they're actually suing us.
Okay, well, this could be a way to bridge some debt there, right? Who knows?
Because we owe them £20 million, and we're still in court about it over a transfer we made in the Championship. It's incredible. But we bought a player in January under the rules where basically if we got promoted, we'd pay him the money for the full transfer. Sorry, Tony, let me finish this trouble. He played 43 minutes of what ended up being our promotion season because he was basically turned up unfit. He played half of the second half against Nottingham Forest, got injured again. Cut a long story short, this COVID happened, and we tried to claim the terms of the contract meant if we weren't promoted by May, the end of the regular season, we wouldn't have to pay him the money if we didn't want to. Obviously, Red Bull Leipzig were like, what the fuck are you talking about? You got promoted. It doesn't matter that you got promoted on July 15th or whatever it was. Pay us the money. And we're still in court about it 2 years later.
Oof.
But because it never happened while we're in the Premiership, it's not heavily public. It's one of these things we've sort of secretly brushed under the carpet because it's like, that don't make us look very good. But,
well, you guys trying to save some money anywhere you can. I know, Tony, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had 2 different things. One, I was just correct what Ray said earlier. Lacazette in his last season at Lyon had 28 goals in the league, 37 overall. And as I say, give to Ray when he's talking about American coach, Ted Lasso is very popular right now, winning a bunch of awards. So, American coach in England, it might go over quite well right now.
Yep. It seems Gary, a lot of coaches coming underneath the Ralph Rangnick tree here. We've got Jurgen Klopp, Tuchel, Hasenhüttl, maybe even Thomas Frank. I'm not sure about that, but it seems to be a trend now that these coaches are cutting their teeth in the Bundesliga and coming to the Premier League now. Frank, I'm not sure about that, but
It is the best league, right? So if you want to, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, basically, right? So if you have an opportunity to come in, you want to do that. I want to go through the chats real quick because I know we've had some people join us recently. Urban Ghost, welcome to the show. I think the Arsenal the Arsenal Dubai chairperson is in the house as well.
What time is it
Yeah.
in Dubai now, Brownie?
Yeah. So we're expanding. Miss Melina is in the house. Hello. Why not sentiment? We'll get to some of your. I saw some of your posts. We'll talk about that as well. We got Des has joined us. Yeah, Steven is also here. So hello everyone. So yeah, no, the Leeds story. I guess nothing's been said yet about their manager. I haven't seen anything recently about the manager. Right?
subject.
No, he's been appointed. That's official. So the club website and everything. Yeah, he's already done his first interviews and obviously had to address the elephant in the room and everything like that. Said all the right things, which upset me because you sit there, you watch the interview. I watched the 7 minutes and I sat there and I was like, this really upsets me because you come across as a really nice guy and I want to hate you. But you're giving me no reason because you're saying all the perfect things that you need to say in this situation.
Yeah.
Like you're addressing the predecessor, you're addressing how difficult it's going to be for you and like you want to play the attacking football, you get the football and all this, and I'm sitting there going, I want to hate this man because you're not my previous favourite.
Well, it would have been Sam Allardyce would have been the candidate then. But
do you know what that tells you, Mr. Tom? The Leeds has a good PR team.
Oh my God, no, you're right, Tony. But if it was Sam Allardyce, oh my God, I would have cut my arm off and slapped myself in the face with it. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think you're going to find it hard to maybe hate Jesse Marsh because he is going to say all the right things. Yeah. He's going to get your team playing in a similar way. You might not see a big transition, Tom. Just that you're not going to leak as many goals at the back.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably one of the things people were saying. Like, okay, after the first 2 or 3 games, I think the defense needs to be solidified. Let's try to do that. And it never happened. But we'll go into some of the comments real quick on the chat. There was a lot of talk about Bielsa. I went through those, but there were some talks about our previous match against Wolves. And this is probably this will lead us probably into I'll come to this one in a second. But when Semedo came off, things started to change. But and you kind of get lucky. Yeah, Neto missed, but I think for me there were things probably going both ways. Right, we probably had opportunities that we didn't capitalize on as well. So I kind of feel like they kind of wash each other out. I don't know how you guys felt about that.
I'm going to disagree.
You're going to disagree? You think if he didn't get injured and Neto hits, then the game's over?
No, I think we definitely got lucky in terms of Wolverhampton Wanderers did not take their chances.
What about us? We had 26 shots, 5 on target.
Yeah, but clear-cut chances were not there, Tony. Wolverhampton Wanderers had clear-cut chances.
Laca'S in front of the goal. Do you remember that? He turns to shoot and he does a parte.
Gary,
I mean, he's got to be at least 5 or 6 feet from the goal.
Gary,
it's not the first time I've seen that comment. That's quite a common opinion from what I've seen.
Yeah, no, I know I've seen that as well, but I think there were opportunities for us to score as well. And you've got the Erdegaard shot, which everybody thought was like off, but it hits the corner of the goal post. Mm-hmm. I mean, a couple inches lower and that might go in because the goalkeeper has no chance there. So Yes, I think we had opportunities to score, which is always the case for us. But I think they would have basically put 11 guys in the box if they got another goal for sure.
Arsenal Misfit says we got lucky, and I kind of agree with him that way. We could have been
Mm-hmm.
two goals down, and you need a rubber luck as well. If you're going to be up there in the top four, hopefully you're going to need a slice of luck here and there.
True.
It shows you've got a bit of fight in your team though, because anytime you're 1-0 down and then you come back to win the game, it shows something about your side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could have easily been content to take the 1-1 draw after Pepe scoring, a brilliant goal, a lovely bit of skill.
Yeah.
But it showed again the leadership in probably Lacazette could keep going till the end. And many will say he can't get 90 minutes, but he's probably recovering right now, right?
He's definitely in an ice bag, and an ice bath for the rest of for at least a week. But like this is I think this is telling right here, the wasting time.
Yeah.
I think that that was similar to when Arteta went after Klopp. There's certain things you don't want to do to the home team, is piss them off and piss off, and that's exactly what happened.
We did that in the first game as well, though, Gary, at their place.
Yeah, but it didn't wow them up enough. It definitely wilded us up. We actually got a little bit of fire under our bellies from what they were doing to us, right?
That's actually interesting because they did the same thing at Ellen Road. They went 1-0 up early in the game, like I'm talking like 10 minutes, no later than 20 minutes. And then they immediately went into, we're going to see this game out at 1-0, but in the 20th minute and not the 70th minute. And it ended up biting them on the arse because we ended up getting a penalty in the 90th minute. Because obviously when you sit off and start time wasting, we're probably, as much as we're doing poorly now, we're probably the worst team you want to turn around to and say, all right, guys, let's see what you've got for 70 minutes because we're not going to try to attack you, whatever you do. And it ends up coming unstuck for them.
Of any team in the Premier League, they're the most continental kind of team. The Wolverhampton Wanderers, they get a goal up. They're defensively good at the back. They lean on their defensive record, and they play for time. They play for winning 1-0, 2-1s.
The Arsenal of old.
There's a question from Mr. Tom.
I've seen a few memes of that where they've had him doing like an interview, saying like, we pressed the soccer ball into the whatever, and then he turns around and goes, "Yeah, we pressed highly." I'm not doing it justice.
Going to stay there? Yeah, is the translator going to stay there and translate?
The translator wasn't employed as a translator. He's actually a first team analyst.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know this. That was just a second job that they wheeled him out. But they just looked like a comedy double act in interviews, which obviously was it was amusing, I have to say. But I'll be sad to see him go if he goes, because everyone knows he was secretly the star of the show, the translator. Everyone knows that. I mean, that don't mean me to tell you that water is wet. He was the star of the show. But I found him on Twitter, it was through a Twitter rabbit hole. I found him, and he had made a tweet in 2014, just really randomly, where he basically said there's a player that plays for Cannes in France called N'Golo Kante, and I think he's really good.
Nice.
I swear, cool. I saw it with my own eyes, and I was like, yeah, that might be why you get a job as an analyst for a Premier League team.
I wonder if Arsene Wenger saw that tweet.
Yeah. So we'll finish up a little bit on the Wolves, and we'll head into another subject that I think is pretty interesting as well. But I think Wolves did have their way with us a little bit. Definitely getting splitting our defense, and then we give them we kind of present with a goal, but they did have their opportunities to pull ahead, but didn't. Mm-hmm. But I guess the last part of that statement is kind of where I want to go into next. Thanks to the ref and VAR, we weren't down 3-0 by halftime, and I think there was a lot of refereeing and VAR stuff going on the weekend. But also, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a video out there with Anthony Taylor talking about the officiating and kind of referees, and there were some quotes I pulled out of that which were kind of interesting. But we'll talk about the officiating in that game if you want to. I think VAR helped us out, right? On the offsides, even though I think that was offsides, that was pretty clear as day for me, offsides.
Yeah.
Calls probably could have gone both ways. We got lucky; they did not call it, and we could have got punished on the white dive. But I think also there was the Martinelli foul, right? Some say that could have gone our way. So I think no.
We'll see that again.
Yeah, no, I thought there was something about Martinelli getting fouled, but I always say, a lot of times a lot of these things can go, they wash each other out sometimes. The problem is when it seems like it's going one-sided, and then you're like, well, you know what? Can we get a piece of that luck as well? And it didn't happen. So I don't know if you guys have anything else to say on the officiating in the Wolves game before we move on to officiating in general.
Stuff to say about officiating in general, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
All
was.
right, so let's move to that. So, like I said, I saw, and I'll kind of go through my notes a little bit quicker, and you guys can kind of embellish that. But I saw like there was the Anthony Taylor video that I just saw it just before the show, and basically he's asking the fans for more understanding. He says also mistakes are made. They're far from perfect. They try to understand, and it's like he's saying all these things as if it's a two-way street, and they're communicating what's going on in the games and what's going on in the decisions. Who wants to go first? Just based on that. I didn't watch the whole video. I don't know if anybody did.
Before Tom jumps in or Tony jumps in, I just want to say these are like words that we can say to console Tom about Bielsa. They are nice things to say, but at the end of the day, they still hurt, and it still happened. And no matter how many words you say about it, it still happened. The guy still got fired, and it didn't need to happen. You can apply this to VAR. What words that they're doing the best they can, things like that. Sorry, Tom, Tony.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
To me, it needs to start with the officiating needs to be consistent before we worry about VAR being consistent and communicating what's going on. But I say you can't score a goal with a non-scoring part of your body, or you can't be offside with a non-scoring part of your body. But all the time they're saying they're like drawing lines. Oh, his elbow is across the line. No, you can't score with your elbow or your hand or whatever. Just see where your feet are. That's offsides. If he's passed with their feet, that's offsides. It's easy. It's simple. Just start with simple rules, just like on VAR. If it's if it's a penalty shout, go straight to the monitor. If it's a red card shout, go straight to the monitor. And it'd be better if they communicate like they do in rugby and Australian rules football, so all the fans knows what's going on. But everything's inconsistent, game to game. The referees are screwing up.
I love that advert.
To me, the first thing I would be changing is I'd be like the NBA, have a review room for head official, not for just game officials that are protecting their buddies. Have a review center, have a command center where everything goes to. And I communicate to the fans better. It seems like you listen to the games and you hear the commenter saying, oh, this is under review, like 2 games ago for us. There was offsides and a penalty shout out at the same time, but the play continued for 3.5 minutes, and the other team went down there and almost scored. And the announcers was like, this is interesting if they score while this is still under review. I mean, just stop the play, go look at the damn monitor. I don't know why you put the monitor out there if you don't go to it. I want the game day official making the final decision. He can consult with other people. Like I said, a review room would be the best way to do it. Not another damn head official, not another damn referee that refed another game that just protecting his buddy. Just to me, it's simple to fix. It just they need to implement the rules consistently, implement VAR consistently, and communicate with fans, which I think is greatly missing.
No, I definitely believe, like you said, communication is key to this thing. Um, the fact, like you said, I mean, the fact that an official will be on the field one day and the next day be up doing VAR, I kind of feel like how how can you do that? I mean, I don't. I think
How or
they need to
why?
be separated. They need to be separated. It needs to be a totally different group altogether. It can't be a game day official on one day and then VAR the next. I just don't see how that works. Like in NFL, I don't. They have a position on the field, and that's where they are pretty much for the entire season. They don't like switch around and go from like being the head official to being like a side judge. It just doesn't happen, and that's kind of what
Oh,
it's almost like what they're doing right here. They're like saying, you know what, you're in the middle of the pitch for like doing managing the entire game. Next thing I know, you're on the sidelines calling out bounce and stuff like that. I know, Tom, you want to say something to?
no, you've said
Yeah,
something I really like there, Gary.
yeah,
That's actually that, but you need to take it a little bit further. I think VAR officials shouldn't be trained referees. The people sat in Stockley Park should be lawyers that only know the rules of football. That's all they know. They don't like football. They have no affiliation of football. They have never refereed a game in their life. They just have a book with the rules. And something happens and they go, that's a foul, that's not a foul. And that's it. None of this, oh yeah, but if I do this, then Man City won't invite me to their Christmas party. Or, oh, if I do this, then I'm overruling the referee who's been a referee for 6 years longer than me, so he has seniority and he's going to be upset at me at the referee's Christmas party. No, just people that have nothing to do with football other than they've been taught the rules of football. And this happened, this is a thing that happened, is it a foul, is it a penalty, or what? And they go yes or no. And we all just go, yeah, you're right.
yeah. I mean,
Because there's nothing in it.
yeah, it's almost like having a police officer and then having a traffic cop, right? Traffic cop
Exactly.
doesn't have a gun, but knows the rules of the road and abides by it all the time, and you don't have this weird feeling. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of these comments,
In terms of a traffic cop, say train number 8 on
That
that
handball,
Gary.
I hate it. I don't like Everton and I hate Frank Lampard. But
Mhm.
that handball was a travesty, right?
Yeah.
Because Everton have wrote to the FA like, we want an apology. But the FA ain't going to write back and go, here's the point you would have got if you got the penalty. So what's
Yeah.
the point of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what
Clearly.
Sorry,
yeah, I
you
was gonna say
fucked
the
up.
trick. I was gonna say the trick to that is once they can acknowledge that there is a problem, maybe they'll fix it. But they're not saying that either. I know Ray,
Yeah.
you wanted to.
They're clearly manipulating the outcome of the Premier League here. Manchester City get away with 3 points. Pep Guardiola, he knows he gets away with 2 extra points on that day. Liverpool are coming hard. They're breathing down their neck so hard. And I saw something, whether it's true or not. Chris Kavanagh on VAR is a Manchester City. All of his family support Manchester City. How do you put somebody in a VAR situation making those decisions? The ball clearly hits his arm. Rodri knows that that's a penalty, and they don't give it. Tony, you make some good points about. I'm going to reference ice hockey here. You take the offside line by your feet, by the tip of your toe. That's the best way to reference if you're offside or not. And every other part of your body can be offside. You can lean forward. You can do whatever you want. Rugby union, you see the decisions and they arrive to the decisions on the field. Everybody hears it. everybody at home, everybody in the stadium hears it.
Lousy rules. Football does the same
Can I
thing.
say something I don't understand about the offside? What I've never understood, and I will sorry to go back to Leeds, I'll use an example. Last season, we scored a goal at 1-0 down to Crystal Palace. Patrick Bamford was given offside because he pointed where he wanted the ball, and his hand or his arm went past the defender line.
Yeah, it's
And they
not
went-
What
scoring.
happened? That's what
Yeah.
happened just yesterday. The Chelsea
Yeah.
game. Lukaku's arm was outstretched and supposedly past, and they showed a line going kind of just where his shirt collar, the shirt sleeve is,
Hmm.
and that's what they called offsides.
And it's by the letter of the law.
Yeah, but
not
they not
scoring
only
part across
chalked
the
off
line
Bamford's
isn't
goal,
offsides. It's not
they didn't
offsides.
just chalk off the goal. For 2 minutes later, Crystal Palace scored and went 2-0 up. And they ended up winning 4-1 because by that point, we down tools because it was like, well, this is bollocks. And basically, cut a long story short on this, I don't understand why, if we'd have crossed that ball and Patrick Bamford had punched the ball in, it would have been handball. So why are you being given offside on a body part that can't score a goal?
That's by the letter of the law. It shouldn't be offsides, but they're
Exactly.
calling it. I don't get it.
The Carabao Cup final yesterday, there wasn't a caution until really, really late in the game, 90th minute. I believe there's a clear bias towards the top teams.
Yeah, and you know what? This is where, and this is for me where
Clear bias.
where all of the teams, and maybe the top teams won't be part of it, but I would say a lot of teams. I think every team will tell you, and every fan will tell you, you know what, we get screwed over too. If that's the case, then all 20 teams in the Premier League today should be writing a letter to the league telling them, we need to do better. And I think all the fans say it, because when you tell a City fan, right, that they get away with murder, they'll tell you about the other 10 times when things didn't go their way, or Liverpool or Chelsea, right?
No one's going to turn around and say we benefited from this, because you forget that, because that's done and dusted, because you only like the injustice. And I'm the same as Arsenal are going to. But my opinion on it is, and you're not going to like this, because all Arsenal viewership in this chat and that, you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but I do believe this. It's a sliding scale of priority to who gets decisions. For example, in my opinion, Xhaka should have been sent off against Leeds. It would not have affected the result. We would have not have come back from 4-1 down. If anything, you're better with 10 men, so you'd have scored a fifth. But the truth of the matter is, see, I'm sitting here going, you got a decision against us.
Yeah.
But then you're going to say Man City got a decision against you.
Yep.
But then Norwich are going to say that we got a decision against them. And it's like a scale of importance, of who.
City,
big six.
But City and Liverpool. But Tom, City and Liverpool don't get any injustice against them. Liverpool don't. I don't know when they've had a player sent off.
I would argue they don't, but they're going to cite 15 examples where they did.
And you know what? All that does is that proves that there is an issue, and that's all we need. It isn't that who benefits from it more or less. It's really the fact that it's a problem. Tony, I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah, more of a question for Mr. Tom, but a comment with it too, because over here in the NFL, you got rules committee where you have the head coaches come together. You review what happened. You say, "Oh, this needs to be clarified," or "This is inconsistent rule. It needs changed." Does the Premier League have the equivalent to that, where the coaches are coming in? Or?
This is what's interesting, Tony, is that part of the reason the Super League was a thing was because the way the Premier League works is they need something like 14 out of 16 votes from the owners for something to be passed. But use an example, Liverpool wanted 5 substitutes in the Premier League and Sheffield United didn't, because Sheffield United, in my opinion, quite rightly perceived that as, well, you have a better squad. So 5 substitutes is advantageous to Sheffield United, to Liverpool, Whereas Sheffield United don't have 5 world-class players to bring on in any
Yeah,
given
there's only like
situation.
8 teams that wanted it and like 12 that didn't want
Exactly,
it.
yeah. But because the big teams didn't get what they wanted in that situation, and I can't prove this, but I'm going to guess that that was a regular occurrence, that they weren't really getting their way because it's set up for them to not get their way. Well, I like you too, Brownie, even though I don't know you. But anyway.
Even though he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, sorry, I've lost my trail of thought. My opinion is basically the Super League occurred because they were tired of it being more equal. They wanted it weighted towards that 6. And it wasn't. Because the idea of the Premier League was to take football away from the Football League and to actually give football to the 20 teams, or at the time 22. And we decided as the clubs what the rules would be. So to answer Tony's question, any rule can be passed provided enough teams agree to it. But there are not many rules that all the teams are going to agree to, because, like using subs as an example, the teams with the money can weight their team where that's going to be more advantageous to them and not Sheffield United. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I think it puts a stain on the Premier League as a league, and that's for me. If you're marketing for the Premier League, it may seem okay because you got a lot of people talking about it, but it puts a stain on the product for me. All right, everybody says you got the best league with the worst officials. Why? You get the most money coming in. Why can you have the best managers coming in, the best players coming in, some of the best fans? Some would say some of the best stadiums. But
I have
then
another
officials
question
have problems, right?
on this
Ray,
topic that you're going to.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom, would you be happy if we went back to amateur refs that don't get paid like they used to have?
I think that could potentially be worse, because then they'd be even more susceptible to corruption because they wouldn't be paid. But then they'd look to get paid, and I can think of 6 teams that would happily pay them.
Yeah, I can't see that working in this day and age when it's so. I mean, this is the problem with it, right? The officials, like you said, are in some cases dictating the results of some of these games. I mean, the game today probably should not have had to go to penalties. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in there where if it was consistently officiated based on the rules that we know of, at least that we think we know of anyways, or that make actually legitimate sense, right? Whether is the arm is the arm offsides or not, you know? Maybe the Chelsea wins it, who knows, you know? But it didn't go that way.
And Matip had a header in near the end as well, right? But there was some kind of a pick or some kind of obstruction from Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, so there's all these things that, you know, and if it's offsides, then call it offsides. I don't like the idea that you hold the flag down and then wait for the next action to occur and then decide whether or not you're going to be offsides or not. It's offsides or it's not.
Because a player is going to be out with a season-long injury again, like Virgil van Dijk at Everton last season. The issue, I think, as well, Gary, is a lot of the decisions are so subjective from these referees. Us as fans, we can never agree on a penalty decision. That's a clear penalty. Well, maybe it's not. You know, other sports have more clear-cut rules that they're able to be adjudicated from, able to be judged from. But there's a lot of
the clear-cut rules are there, just the referees don't follow them.
Yeah. And it's not actually. I don't think it's actually whether or not they officiate. They officiate to the book. It's consistency. So if you know that an official will let you get away with grabbing someone, pulling them down, and all of that, and that's just everybody knows that, then that's just the way the game is played that day, right? But if official says, you know what, if the team in blue from Manchester pulls you down and the team in red from London pulls you down, you get different
Two different outcomes.
You get two different outcomes and that's for the same official.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's kind of like in baseball, right? In baseball, when a particular person's behind the plate, whether or not you're going to have a big or a small strike zone, and you act accordingly. If you know it's a bigger strike zone, then you're going to have to go and reach for some balls and hit them, right? Whereas if it's a smaller one, it's in your favor. So it's consistency more than it is whether or not they're doing their job correctly.
Used to be as well, Gary. Professional players, they play for 5 or 10 minutes. After 5 or 10 minutes, you get a feel for how far where the line is. Where the referee's gonna either talk to the player or actually pull out the yellow card, and then all of the other players will know. Okay, well, he's getting the yellow card because of that. This was days gone by. Now they're even so inconsistent within the game. They'll let some things go in the second half. They'll give a yellow card for something that was similar in the first half, but there's no consistency even within the game and within the same referee.
Sorry, guys. Can I just address something that's been said in this comment? Can I just save everyone a lot of time? It would be easier for me to name the clubs that Leeds do like.
How many besides Leeds?
Well, I suppose we don't hate Arsenal. And that's about it. I think Guiseley in Yorkshire, we go there for a pre-season friendly to give them a bit of money. I think there's a couple of clubs in Ireland that we think are all right, and everyone else just fuck them.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, how inconsistent it is because each 4 of us and pretty much all the fans can name 6 to 10 officials. What other sport can you name that many officials?
Yeah.
None of them, because they're being consistent.
Name 10 refs, Tony. Name 10 refs right now.
I could. I don't want to. We're running out of time.
It's funny. I don't even like to know the names, but I know some of the last names because I know there's Paulson.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game.
I mean,
let's play a game. You pick one, then Tony pick one.
Oh, no, I don't think I'm good at this one.
Pick one, Gary.
I'll just go with
we can
Tierney.
All right, Tony. Pick a name. Pick a referee. Referee's name, Tony.
You want to go with Mike Dean? You want to go with?
Sure, Mike Dean.
Mr.
Craig
All
Paulson.
right, pick the one I was going to pick.
I'll take Craig Paulson. Okay, Tom.
Oh, well, I'm obviously going to lose this game. Taylor.
Oh, yeah, he's yeah.
Gary.
And we already said Paulson, right?
I was trying to think, who did Gary talk about earlier? Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Taylor.
And I say Paulson since nobody brought him up, right?
I said Paulson.
Oh, you did? Oh, crap. Oh, boy. I don't know. I know.
We got other things to color, Gary.
Yeah.
We can name 10.
Anybody know one? Tony, do you know one?
We can name 10. Let's
I can
move
name
on.
more.
Okay, go ahead, Ray.
John Moss.
There you go.
He's
Do
another
you have
one.
any, Tom?
No, but I didn't claim to be the referees are.
Yeah,
Tony
no,
did.
I don't know. I don't know.
Chris Kavanagh. All the Manchester crew. They're all Manchester.
That's what we got Stefan there for, and Rudy. I bet Rudy can name.
I was like, I can name 10 referees. Can you, Tony? Can you name 2?
Michael Oliver. Why not? Says Michael Oliver. Why not?
Yeah.
But the point is, we should not know their names. Tony's saying we should not know their names. The best referees don't even get noticed.
I'll take his point.
Yeah.
I'll take your point, Tony. I was just being a dick.
It's
Yeah,
okay,
I
Tom.
mean, I don't know about this rule because I
I'd
know
still
this,
sit down with you and have a beer.
Yeah.
And talk about wrestling and football.
No, I was just looking at this.
I can talk about anything. Not necessarily well, but I can try.
Yeah, I mean, I to some degree, I do think something like this could be introduced in terms of concussions, but I kind of feel like a lot of times they call somebody down for a head injury when they just grab their head, even though they hurt their leg. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they don't even get hit in the face, and they just grab their face.
They know play's going to get stopped because it's a head injury.
Yeah.
Foden
So
went
people
down.
were taking advantage of it. Yeah.
Foden went down like a sack of potatoes against Everton.
Yeah.
Just got like a hand in the face.
Yeah, I know in the States and in soccer in the States, they sub in and out like regularly. It's part of the game. I mean, I would agree that if you did it, then at least the game will keep going. But if you don't have players ready to go, that's the problem, right? Sometimes you don't have a player ready to go, so you slow it down probably just enough that by the time your player's ready to actually get into the game, it's either ruled out as a head injury or you're going to make a sub anyway. So it may not work out too much in that favor.
Just give teams 5 subs. I liked it. I wish they'd go back to it.
Oh yeah, friend is one. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, I don't think anybody likes Mike Dean.
It was actually a trivia category on Stoop, so I should actually know at least 6 of them. But yeah.
I mean, talk to us about dead wrestlers.
Yeah, the one thing you guys are talking about with the officials and their affiliations to teams, and that's why it can't just be one official making the decision. And that's why sometimes it might make sense to have it back in the headquarters of the FA, a group of I don't know, 5 or 6 people, part of the VAR room, actually looking at something and making a decision on it. And at least if you got 3 and 4 eyes, the affiliations to teams won't matter, especially if you've got people with affiliations to any, either a top team or a lower team as far as table goes in that respects. So, yeah. I'm not sure what this means. What does this mean?
I think Miss Massey is a married woman, Stefan. She's the linesman. Sorry, assistant referee.
Oh, okay.
She's the one that against Arsenal.
Mr. Tom can't name head.
Oh, okay.
He can't name lead referees, but he can name beside judges.
Yeah. Hey, there must be a reason why he remembers that official, right?
That's because I remember the uproar when Aguero patted her on the head or something, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, he touched a woman."
Well, it wasn't even that, because I don't think they would think he would.
Come on, Tom. You just thought she's a good-looking bird.
Right. So, I think that was the issue with that one.
I've seen worse, Tony.
Yeah. And I guess we're coming up on an hour, but I guess there were a couple of things that I wanted to also get into that we talked about the officials, but it is an Arsenal channel, so we'll get into some of the Arsenal things. And I know, Tom, you probably have some comments on this as well. But
Arsenal channel?
What? Yes, this is an Arsenal channel.
You're on your own damn show again.
No. But this relates to a lot of teams anyway. So I guess the current news at Arsenal right now, right, is that the ticket prices have been raised after 7 years, but also a new jersey was leaked out, or top, whatever you want to call. So this is the Arsenal way, right?
Oh, the McCartney connection.
The McCartney collection. It's
That's
horrible.
right.
It's just like Manchester United strip last season. It's horrible.
Yeah, no, I said, we got the 3 wins in a row, so something, so the marketing's like, we got to do something. New jersey, new top, come on, let's do it. And there you go. The new top's been leaked out. How did leaked out? Yeah, I don't get it. But the ticket price is kind of the thing that I don't know how you guys felt about that. I know supposedly it's been only 7 years since they've increased the ticket price.
We're still paying. I'm sure Arsenal fans are still paying
the tops in the league. They're still one of the top teams in the league in terms of, I think it's somebody told me correctly. It's a third of the price to play to go to a Man City game, right? Than it is to go to a United game with as far as the season ticket costs.
You got to buy the paint somehow. If you want to refurbish the stadium, you got to, Uncle Stan. Getting that money back somehow.
Yeah, I said it's like £3 million or whatever they're going to get by raising it that much, and that's going to, but why? They said they haven't raised it in 7 years, but they're still one of the top teams in terms of.
I'm surprised you haven't raised it for 7 years. That's quite a long time.
I know they've been one of the top teams forever on price.
Yeah,
but then I think it was because used were really expensive compared to a lot of teams, say 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and we're still more expensive now. So what's the reason for that? Like they've lost
you-
Europe and the prices never went down, but now they're going up. Right? They're going to go up because maybe there'll be Europe next year, right? Maybe.
If
But
you
what if
want to
there
see
isn't?
Arsenal against Dundalk, if you want to see the stars of Dundalk in the Europa League, you can at the Emirates.
Hey! Don't be hating on an Irish team. Come on now.
I'm not hating on Dundalk. That was a massive achievement to get there. If I remember rightly, they should have made it to the Champions League.
Mhm.
They had to lower themselves to play Arsenal. But Ray, you weren't expecting that, were you, mate?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, no, I just don't think it. I think it's the perception
You
is
have,
that
you have to
it's
punch
pretty
up
bad.
in life, not punch down.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think
But,
anybody's too happy about the prices range. You guys seem to be okay with it. I kind of feel like it's
No, I'm not
kind
okay
of.
with it. No.
I think it's
They're only
another
going to get
negative.
away with it because it's in London.
Yeah, but the product isn't that good.
Oh
Not yet.
no! I'm never gonna defend an actual ticket price unless it's like a tenner or something. Although ironically, I was pleased that my ticket to Arsenal versus Leeds in the Carabao was £20, so that was quite pleasing.
Yeah, and I think
I mean, I wish I never paid it at all because we got battered. But
I
I
know.
wish
I
I'd
know.
just stayed and hid in bed all night. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. In the summer, I believe the team is supposed to come over to the States, and they're probably going to get to play in the stadium that they built, supposedly by some fans, right?
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
No,
one. Another
it's
one's
more
like white.
black
No,
and
there's
white.
one. That's
Two of
one
them.
version of it, and there's
Yeah.
another version. So
You look like a
there's-
Frisian
Yeah.
cow.
that's the
Looks like-
shirts.
Looks like
right?
a zebra to me.
Yeah. So no, some are saying that they're going to get to go play in Las Vegas and play in a stadium, that Stan built essentially.
I would have thought you'd have played in the Ram Stadium. That
It just
seems
opened.
like a
Yeah.
They will. They
It
will.
just opened up, so yeah, they never got a chance to play in it. So
We trained.
Like-
I think we trained there, but we never played there.
Do you think
no,
anyone
I
will buy
know.
those jerseys, Gary? Do you think anyone will buy that?
I think some people are saying that they like them. I guess I don't know if they were joking or not, but I think some people said they like them. Yeah. So I mean, and also the raising of the prices, it kind of starts to wean out the fans, right? Only the fans that can afford it will go, and so you get you don't get the right fans in there.
I'd say something interesting about the football stadiums in the Premier League and the pricing and what teams actually want. Arsenal, Chelsea, for example, don't want Jim that lives next to Arsenal 4 minutes away on a bus to buy one ticket to go there and have maybe at most a beer and sits there and watches the game. What they actually want is Ching Chang from Thailand who brings his family, over to Chelsea, where they spend £500 in the club shop. They spend loads of money in the actual stadium on all the concessions and stuff, and they sit there and they have the full experience because then they've got 4 times the money at the maximum possible outlay. Instead of you buying your ticket for 50 quid and a beer, so you've probably spent on the day £55, let's say, you can have someone in his family spending £2,000. Because when he buys it, exactly, they want tourists. Because when they buy their shirt, they're not buying one shirt. They're going to buy a shirt for the kids, maybe for himself. He's going to buy the half and half scarf. And that's on top of the food and drink. That's who football teams actually want now. Because they know you're going to watch, even if you can't go there, you're going to watch it on TV. You're going to watch it regardless. But they want the families, and there's nothing wrong in. I'm not going to turn around to a family and go, "You're less of a fan than someone who's liked the team for 20." Like, that's not the point. But the clubs are set up for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when people are saying that clubs are killing football, they're changing football because football's very different to how it was 30, 40 years ago. Very, very different. Like, you only have to see documentaries on the violence.
Come on, you know you miss with football hooligans.
The way that
I
the
don't know
way
how to
that-
answer that.
and the
You'd
way
be
it's
right out there
You know,
with
my
Laca'S.
dad said my dad was a West Ham fan. He said he went to a West Ham fan back. This must have been in the 60s, 70s, and he said it got a little rough, and that's when the last time he went. I don't know if he actually got hit or not, but he said it was a little too crazy. So he's never gone. He never went back after that. I know things have cleaned up since, but that was kind of his the last time he went.
It's literally family-friendly entertainment now.
Yeah.
Like it's like in the 70s when there was crowd trouble, it wasn't news because every ground had crowd trouble. Whereas now, if there's crowd trouble at Leeds versus Man United, it will make it into the news because that will be the only game that day that has an incident.
And talking about hooligans, here is the hooligan from back in when he was younger. I don't know. Yeah.
How many
Oh, that
stadiums are
Brownie.
you?
I know,
And
yeah,
now
I know
he
all about
just-
what
How
that
many
Brownie was doing.
stadiums is he
Yeah.
banned from? That's
now
what
he
I
just
wanna know.
makes videos about hooliganism.
Is there a ground that you're not
Yeah.
banned
Brownie's
from,
just going
Brownie?
to talk about Millwall. I can imagine Brownie back there
Yeah.
during Millwall in the 60s
I
and
hate
70s.
And I
bloody
like
hate
Why
Millwall.
Not Sentiment because he's gonna always have some good stuff to say. Yeah.
If anyone from any other team is watching this, you stumble across it on YouTube, I will save you some time. I probably hate your club.
Yeah. Brownie, hooligan number
We
one.
still want you to stay up, Tom. We still want you to stay up.
No, we enjoying having you on. Like I said, I think
I got a lot of points off Leeds, but if Ray gave them to me, is a different story or not.
Yeah.
What? Guaranteed
I'm
6
upset
points.
challenge. I picked Leeds a lot. I gained lots of points by Leeds if Ray gave me the points or not.
The upside challenge, yeah.
That's very clever, Brownie. You remember in the moment where Leeds' whole existence went to shit. When we lost to Cardiff in the 2001-2002 season, we were on January 3rd or something, we were literally top of the Premier League. Leeds United, top of the Premier League, and we lost to Cardiff in the FA Cup. And then we ended up finishing 5th. And then we ended up finishing, I think it was 19th. And relegated, and then we just basically fell into the football basement. So thank you for reminding me of that, Brownie. That was very kind of you.
He's a huge Cardiff fan. If you
Yeah. I'm loving the history lesson. Thank you, Brownie.
He's from Wales, so
Yeah, that's very kind
that's
of you to remind me.
That's what Brownie does. He's there's levels, right? You've got the Ray level and you've got the Brownie level, right? In terms of poking the bear and seeing it, seeing if you wake it up or not.
I haven't mentioned Arsenal's defense yet and how much we spent on it last summer.
Yeah, that's not necessary.
Don't poke me.
we don't want to go bare
you know what?
again.
Before we go, since we've hit the hour mark, I'm not sure. Who do Leeds play next? So let's check that out.
Leicester.
It's Leicester.
They're playing Leicester, and Arsenal's playing Watford. So
Arsenal play Watford.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it if you handed Watford a beating by about 40 goals, so our goal difference could be better than someone.
We might miss 40 goals.
We can do a 1-2 at the most.
We might try for it.
I'll have to settle for that then.
Don't rely on Arsenal for a goal difference. We all know that we spent 106 million out of 150 on our back five.
I wish we'd have spent 106 million on defenders. But then again, actually, I don't know why I said that because he wouldn't have used them anyway. We could have bought Virgil van Dijk and he'd have gone, I want you up front.
He's got everybody storming up front.
Gary always does say it's about coaching. Now, you bring Jesse March in, Gary. Are you expecting the coach to improve their back four?
In this first game?
No, by the end of the season.
I would. You know what? He's going to have to. I mean, everybody sees
not
that.
A yes
so
or no answer.
Yeah. No, I think definitely the other trick that he's going to have to try to figure out is how to get Bamford and Phillips back onto the pitch as soon as possible. Because I think no matter what,
I'd bring them on a gurney if they were on there. I'd even if he was strapped to the thing, I would just stick him in the middle of the pitch, and I'd be like, Calvin, you'll probably do a better job at defending than we did on Saturday. Because at least the ball might hit him or something.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Oh, God, it was painful to watch. Oh, my God.
Probably nailed on to bring Brendan Aronson as well in the summertime, Tom. So
Sorry, I will address that. I had someone ask me, did you watch the Liverpool game? What, did I watch the highlights of my team getting beat 6-0? What do you fucking think what, you fucking motherfucker? Sorry.
You sound a little upset there, Mr. Tom.
Tell us how you really feel, Mr. Tom.
It was the way they went, did you watch it? Like it weren't on TV, so the only way for me to watch it would be like to catch the highlights or something. But I know we lost 6-0. So it's like it's one of these games that I never want to see. Like if I see the goal with a highlight reel, I'm gonna be surprised by it because I'm gonna be like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
But
That's like,
you know,
that's kind of like any Arsenal fan. None of us have ever went back and watched the 2006 Champions League.
Question for Tom: Who's going to be the manager on Saturday for Leeds?
Well, it's already Jesse Marsh. He's already been unveiled.
But he can't come till next week, right? Or did I read that wrong? He needs his paperwork. He needs his work paper.
No, the video's online of him meeting the team and everything. He's already done. He's already done his team meeting and everything.
I thought I saw something about him going to be introduced next week.
I don't know if he's legally allowed to work or that, but I've seen the video of him. Like they were all socially distanced and sat like it was like the first day of school, and he was standing there telling them what you never heard the words, but it was part of the video. Yeah. But Calvin Phillips like shook his hand and that, and he had the look of a man who was like, "So you're the reason my hero got fired."
All right, so we're actually gonna head out of here. So Tom, do you have anything you want to say before we say our goodbyes or we say goodbye?
I hate your club, Brownie, but you're quite awesome. So
don't tell him he's awesome.
I hate him. I hate Cardiff. Fuck him. I don't want to see him ever again. I don't want to be in that championship ever again.
Yeah. Well, Leicester. Leicester. What they lost to? They lost to the Wolves, and they beat Randers, whoever Randers is. But
they're a Danish team in the Europa League, I believe.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they haven't won. They haven't won in the Premier League in like a month. So at least a month.
So they're still in the Europa League.
Yeah, they won
Conference League.
Matches,
the Conference League, they got relegated from the Europa League, and then when they went to Brendan Rodgers, so what do you think about being in the Conference League? He was like, "What competition is that?" I saw that with my own eyes. He really looked surprised, like he thought they'd been eliminated from the Europa League, and he was going to have Thursday nights off. And then they were like, "No, you're in the Conference League now." He was like, "Oh God, I've got to work more days a week." No, I do not have a channel, Brandy. I just frequent comment sections until they let me on their show.
Randers works at the FBI. Okay, yeah.
That's Brownie's approach too.
We haven't seen much of Brownie since he's been in Dubai.
Yeah,
we don't know what he's up to.
All right, Tom, and thank you. And Ray, what you got to say?
We listen. Good luck to Leeds on Saturday. Hopefully, the team will bounce back with Leicester coming into town. Are you away to Leicester?
I believe we're away.
We're away to Leicester, so hopefully get a reaction from the team. We've got Watford on Sunday. Realistically, we should beat Watford, but it's not going to be an easy game. Every Premier League game presents new challenges for every team, and for this Arsenal team, the low block is going to be something that we're going to struggle against. I need you to win, Ray.
I need you to win.
We will win by 1 or 2 goals max, but we're not going to be pushing the goal difference needle in your direction too much.
Just make sure they leave with nothing.
Really enjoyed coming on tonight, Gary. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. So you said they're going to win by 1 or 2 goals. Tony, any last word? What are your last words?
I'm just going to go back to what we were talking about on referees, VAR.
History lesson. Oh my God.
I just want to see consistency. That's all I want to see.
Yeah. What's your prediction for the game?
Which game?
We play a game this weekend. Come on.
Our game? 3-0.
He's your co-host, really?
Our game. Hey, you know what? This is a Tony tax, man. You know what it comes with, man. This is what it looks like, right?
Oh my god!
It's like
I love
this.
when the tweet went out and it was like, my co-host is Tony. I was like, good luck with that.
I've been with him before. He
Yeah, I think
looks up.
at least it looks like everybody's giving us
not
a
that
win.
way.
Why not sentiment? I mean, hopefully you're just trying to jinx us, right? And do the opposite jinx.
I do
where-
want to see 4-0 because we haven't seen Arsenal
Yeah.
Luchador for ages.
Yeah.
I
That'd be
keep telling him the women win
Lacazette-
4-0. I keep
Lacazette-
asking him to appear, but he doesn't appear. Just one.
Gary, Lacazette, get out of that ice bath and score a goal, please.
True.
So
I
I'll
mean-
tell you the one thing I did like about being in the championship. When we would start giving teams a bit of a spanking, I'd be like to my dad or whoever I was watching it with, oh, we're 3-0 up against Stoke. You know, it'd be a lot better than 3-0, 4-0. And then we'd got to get a fourth goal. And then I'd be like, oh, but you know, it'd be even better than this. Patrick Bamford ain't scored yet. So 5-0 would be a lot better. And then Patrick Bamford would score the last kick of the game. I was like, this championship ain't all that bad because you can just wish things into existence. But
Then you give up 2 goals.
not in the championship, Tony. Come on, that's like park
I
football.
mean, I do miss the lead scoring, you know. So I can't say that just because you know it's going to come. But hello everyone. Yep. So I think Watford gave up 4 goals to Crystal Palace at home. It doesn't matter where we play them. We should be able to get at least 3 goals. I think there's at least 3 goals in there for us. I mean, I'll say a 3-1 just because we seem to let a goal in. We seem to do something silly. But I like to see after 9 days off, and maybe we'll get some healthy people back. You know, it'd be nice. I know somebody came off injured, I thought, in the game. I don't know if it's Tyranny or not, but or Emil Shafro come off. I can't remember who came off, but I think there might be one injury. But we definitely need to see. It'd be nice to see Tomiyasu back, but I think he's got some chronic calf issue. Yeah.
No, it's the other calf.
Yeah.
It's moved to other calf.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the one. Yeah, so we shall see. But I'm hoping that I think we can get 3 goals in there. I think the team needs to see the goals go in, so they know that they're there. Yeah, this will help out Mr. Tom if we were able to do this, right?
We can make one candidate for going down on Sunday for you. I'll be one less team to worry about.
Yeah.
I need them to start dropping like flies. I mean,
Yeah.
But you do have to win 5 games.
Yeah.
Tom, you do have to win 5 games.
Yeah.
You'll
if
be
we can
safe,
survive
Mr.
this
Tom.
year, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
You'll
We're a
be
big
safe.
enough club that if we can survive and then just bring in a few lads, we'll be fine as a Premier League club.
You'll survive.
But we've got to survive.
You'll
And
survive.
if because I don't want to have to go on the stoop and change it into a championship show.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna head out of here. As Reddy says, cheers everyone. Great footy talk. Thank you. I think hopefully you enjoyed it.
Really.
And for those that
Yeah,
watch us on
brother.
replay, hope you enjoy what
Why
we had to
not?
say as well. We
Thank
will
you for
see
being
you
so
again.
welcoming.
Yes,
Sorry,
and say thank you to Mr. Tom for coming and showing up. You know, his first time on the trip, and maybe we'll see him again later on in the season.
I enjoyed the trip.
Yes, thank you, and Tony, thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
And Ray.
Anytime.
And for those who don't know, I guess since we all do a show on Thursdays as well, we'll be back on Thursday on the Arsenal Fan Circle with Ray hosting this time. And
We'll see if we
me.
mention the defense or not. The 90 million spin out.
Yeah, I
we'll
think
see
this
if
is-
Ray brings that back up.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I think. Leeds will stay up, so no problem there. Be safe, everyone. So so everybody stay safe, and hope that whole Ukraine thing kind of fizzes out, hopefully quickly, and no loss of life further from here on out. I would like to see that. That's
Pull your
peace,
troops
love,
out,
and
Tony.
happiness,
Pull your
right?
troops
So,
out.
yeah. So everyone,
You missed it, Mr. Tom.
yeah.
Tonsky defected to Ukraine. He's
Ah.
safe in Kiev.
Let's see.
He's
see.
nice and safe.
All right, everyone. So we're gonna say good night. Goodbye.
Good night,
And as I
everyone.
like to say, life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one, and we're out.